Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Monday, March 9th, 2026. A man with a violent felony conviction was arrested on suspicion of elder abuse in Joshua Tree. On February 27th, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies say that an elderly adult victim was suffering from injuries. The victim was driven to a local hospital by her son, Andrew Farquhar, a 38-year-old resident of Joshua Tree. Medical staff treating the victim recognized the injuries as the result of possible physical abuse. Deputies responded to the hospital and they say they confirmed those signs of abuse. On the following day, February 28th, deputies contacted Farquhar at his home in the 6700 block of Hillview Road in Joshua Tree. He was taken into custody without incident. Farquhar was arrested on suspicion of elder abuse in 2021. The charges were dismissed, but he pled guilty to assault as part of that same incident. Andrew Farquhar was arrested on suspicion of elder abuse and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $40,000 bail. The Landers Homestead Valley Association meets tonight. Annalise Kuiper has a look at their agenda.
The Landers Homestead Valley Association meeting is a great way to connect with the community and find out about upcoming events. Tonight's meeting will provide details about a park cleanup, dance classes, and a UFO meetup event. To hear about these and more, come to the meeting Monday, March 9th at 5 p.m. in Belfield Hall, 58380 Ricci Road in Landers. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors meets in regular session tomorrow morning. On their agenda is the consideration of budget adjustments for the Wonder Valley Community Center upgrade project. The project includes upgrades to the community center's kitchen and bathroom. The agenda item asks the board to reallocate about $50,000 of the overall funds of about $500,000 for what it describes as unforeseen conditions. The board seeks to adjust the budget, contract amounts, and timeline for the project based on health code requirements that they say were not foreseeable when the board originally approved the project. The construction project's timeline would be extended to July 31st, 2026. Also on their agenda, the San Bernardino County Board of Education has requested an increase in their own monthly compensation. If approved, each Board of Education member will see their monthly compensation increase from $573 to $2,000, a total increase of $1,426 per board member per month. The San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors meets in regular session tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at their chambers at the County Government Center, 385 North Arrowhead Avenue in San Bernardino. 2.5 years after the damage sustained by Tropical Storm Hilary, the staff at Big Morongo Canyon Preserve have announced all boardwalk trails are now reopened after intensive repairs. Reporter Gabriel Hart spoke to Big Morongo Canyon Executive Director Kevin Wong about the long wait for repairs, the time constraints for migratory bird nesting, and what they will improve next.
On Wednesday, March 4th, Director of San Bernardino Regional Parks Beata Davis announced that Big Morongo Canyon's Marsh Trail and Yucca Ridge Trail are now open for full loop hiking and strolling on their freshly repaired boardwalks. As reported in our previous story on their projections for completion, the trails were open just in time for the nesting season for the federally endangered least Bell's vireo bird, who take residence at the preserve from mid-February to mid-September. Big Morongo Canyon Preserve Executive Director Kevin Wong explains what would have happened if they didn't finish in time for the preserve's protected visitor, who tend to nest a meter off the ground in the marsh and boardwalks.
It's a very wide time frame, but they don't know when the bird's going to come in and they don't know when it's going to leave. And this project was just bumping right up against that February 15. So a biologist was here regularly at that time to monitor to see if there are any nesting birds that had shown up, any birds that have arrived to nest. And she found no evidence in the construction site. So the biologist didn't see any evidence of nesting. So the contractors could finish some last minute little projects that they needed to do. Very crunched for time, yes. Because in case a bird did show up.
And then when would they, if that happened, when would they have picked back up?
Fall, yeah. So it was a big crunch, but they had the biologist here. And there was no evidence of least Bell's Vireos showing up yet. But I just want to compliment the county for having both archaeology and biology experts here just to make sure that it's all going to be a good job and it doesn't affect cultural artifacts and or animals.
Wong says migratory birds like the least Bell's vireo only nest in the spring when they're heading north before returning to the south in the fall, so it's a primary concern to help accommodate their small window. Besides daily visitors eager to return, Wong points out another group who will benefit from the return to full loop boardwalks and trails.
Another group that's very excited about that is our education docents, because when we have school groups come, they want to do loops and not bump into each other, one going out and coming back.
Right,
so they're
right.
very excited that their programs will remain the same. And we're looking forward to having a lot of school groups, elementary school groups coming in both April and May. And we get a huge influx at that time because they're coming to the end of the school year.
Wong said the long wait for repairs was due to acquiring additional permitting from the Army Corps of Engineers and the California State Water Control Board, since both boardwalks have bridges over vital creeks during moist season. A process Wong says was, quote, laborious. Now that Phase 1 of the preserve's revamping is completed, they will move to Phase 2, repaving the driveway and parking lot in late summer, early fall. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Gabriel Hart.
There's a new theater company that is all things about the Bard and splicing the Elizabethan verse with a high desert vibe for something wholly new. Arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas tells you how to be part of this brand new company and tame that shrew.
A new nonprofit theater company is bringing Shakespeare to the high desert with boots on. The newly formed Joshua Tree Shakespeare Company, or JTSC, will launch its inaugural production this spring with a Western-inspired adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew, directed by Molly Kettelbach. Performances will take place at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center on the weekends of June 5th through 7th and June 12th through 14th. Founded by local creative professionals Brian Hennessy, Liz Wessel, and Michael King, JTSE was established as a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission of producing high-quality, accessible Shakespeare while building a lasting cultural tradition in Joshua Tree and the surrounding communities. Auditions for The Taming of the Shrew will be held March 28th at high noon at the 29 Palms Elks Lodge. Actors of all experience levels are encouraged to attend. Audition details and preparation information is available at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. Tickets for the June performances and sponsorship opportunities will be announced soon. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Arts and Entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas.
And finally, the 29 Palms High School Wildcats varsity baseball team took the loss on Friday against Vista del Lago High School. The final score was 10-5. Ransom Wallace led the Wildcats with 2 hits. Mauricio Montada and Anthony Gabriel Jr. were a 1-2 punch in the lineup as each drove in 1 run for the Wildcats. Mauricio Montada and Eduardo Avalos each had 1 hit. The Wildcats played home on Tuesday against Desert Hot Springs High School. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.